Emergency crews were quick to arrive on scene, and the 23-year-old pedestrian was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The Catholic School Board declined to speak on camera, saying that they felt they handled the situation on Monday well. However, they did admit there is always room for improvement. As for parents I spoke to, they say they felt the individual schools handled the situation well, but they want to see the boards look into a way to get information out to parents faster. Avenue Living is letting people back into the building to get out any necessities, but currently the building has no power or heating. These layoffs come just 2 weeks after CalFrac announced that they were closing up shop locally, and between the two closures, that's 300 people out of work. Students are given a different test each year, but the scores are standardized, so that means even if the test is easier or harder from year to year, the school's overall mark shouldn't fluctuate.
So Alicia, last we heard, police had a potential suspect in Saskatchewan. So how did they get to a teen in Ontario?
Well, it was a Facebook account that initially led police to Saskatchewan. The account appeared to belong to a teen who had friends in the Medicine Hat area. But police learned someone had used his name to create a fake account, and Medicine Hat police say the teen had no idea his information was being used by somebody else. Now, police have already charged his wife with aggravated assault, but Inspector Brent Secondiak says if the autopsy shows Holmes died as a result of his injuries, charges could be upgraded to manslaughter, first or second-degree murder.
So once we see more produce being grown locally, will that automatically lead to lower prices here for consumers?
Yes. The thing is, in winter, prices always go up because there's just less product. So once it warms up and more produce is being grown locally, we should start to see some lower prices.
Well, good evening and thank you very much for joining us. It's been 1 week since Fort McMurray residents were told they had to evacuate. As the fire burned around them, many left with only the clothes on their back. Medicine Hat is now hosting a number of those evacuees. We spoke with one of the families today, and as Alicia Draus reports, they say Hatters have gone above and beyond to make them feel welcome.
All of a sudden I could just see all the trees like starting to go orange and changing color, and like just the smoke just came out of nowhere. Like it happened so fast.
It was just really weird because it was raining ash everywhere, it was orange everywhere.
It just got worse and worse and worse, so that was very hard for us because we didn't realize how fast something could move like that.
Jennifer Todd, her husband, and her sister were among the over 80,000 people that fled Fort McMurray last week. With them were their 3 kids, including 2 infants. The family was forced north, where they spent a few nights in a camp.
My sister and I and the 2 girls had to sleep on one single bed together, and my husband was on the floor. My son was in a single bed with his grandparents.
Once they were able to evacuate to the south, they knew exactly where to go.
From the second everything happened, we knew if we either went north or went south, our goal was to come to Medicine Hat.
The sisters' parents live in Medicine Hat, along with their 2 brothers. They're all staying together now, 10 people under one roof. Heather McPherson says it's nice to be surrounded by family.
Actually more help than what I have at home, so that's even better, which is because it's needed right now. It's crowded a little, but it's been good.
And the help hasn't come from family members alone. The community has stepped in, doing what they can for the family.
They've been great. Like everyone's dropped off us clothes. Like I have enough clothes now to get me through for this time, so that's awesome. We've had people come bring us food and donations and flowers. It's been really great. It's been such a nice support.
This lady says, "I hear you have an 11-year-old boy." And my mom said yes. She's like, "Could you use a new bike?" And I just broke down. That was probably my biggest cry.
They say they're beyond grateful for everything the community has given them. As for their homes, they believe they're still standing. But with no word on when they can return, they're planning to stay in Medicine Hat for at least the summer. Jennifer says her family will probably start to look for a place of their own, still near her parents. Meanwhile, Heather says while she does eventually want to return home, she's not quite sure when she'll be ready.
I do want to go back and help rebuild the community. A part of me really does, but a part of me is terrified too at the same time. I'm afraid to go home.
Alicia Draus, Chat News.
The community of Brooks came together this weekend to remember a young woman who died tragically 1 week ago. 19-year-old Tanya Campbell-Lozier died in hospital after allegedly being beaten by her boyfriend. As Alicia Draus reports, a fundraiser was held for her family in honor of a young woman who touched many lives.
This was the centerpiece of a show and shine in Brooks on Sunday.
The truck was 19-year-old Tanya Campbell Lozier's, a family treasure she got from her grandpa and had spent the last 3 years fixing up. It was shined to perfection for Sunday's show by her close friend, Casey Ketchmark.
That was kind of Tanya's thing. That old Dodge there, that was her pride and joy. She had it all painted up and she was going to do show and shines and stuff with it. We figured what better way to celebrate her life than to put on a show and shine in her memory.
Tanya died last week after being beaten allegedly at the hand of her boyfriend. Ketchmark organized the event to help raise funds for Tanya's family. Tanya's mother says it was the perfect tribute to her daughter.
She did mechanics. She built a Jeep in high school by herself, no boys helping her.
Campbell Lozier is being remembered as a happy, outgoing girl who loved her truck and loved animals, especially horses. And while Sunday was a time to celebrate her life, her mother also wants people to take away an important message.
It's unacceptable to hurt each other. If you're angry, get help. There's so many people out there you can talk to. Get help.
Family friend Mary Ketchmark says it's a message she hopes people will listen to.
I want there to be more awareness of domestic violence. It starts at home, and you got to teach your children not to hit each other. That's where it comes from.
Campbell is impressed with how the community came out to support her family. She says while it's hard to go on without her daughter, she knows she'll always be watching from above.
She loved life and she lived it to the fullest. And that's what I'm going to do in her honor.
Alicia Draus, Chat News.